Okay, hello everyone. We are here at KAVP Wilkes-Barre Scranton International in the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, and it is finally here. We are in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and I have to admit it has lived up to the hype for graphics and appearance. The landscape, the clouds, everything. I am really blown away with it. So I'll talk a little bit about my opinions of it at the end of this video, so be sure to watch all the way to the end. We'll be doing a cold and dark startup for the Cessna, like we usually do in my flight videos. But before we do that, I wanted to highlight something that I noticed when I was editing this, and that's the clouds in the background here. And I didn't notice it until I was scrubbing through the video on fast forward, so I'm going to speed them up for a second and just pay attention to those clouds. That is so awesome. You can see the clouds not only moving, but they're evolving. Parts are breaking off, disappearing. They're acting like real clouds. So the weather here is just incredible, and weather is a really big part of a flight simulation. And you'll get to see a lot more of it as we do some cinematics for our flight. So without delay, let's hop into the cockpit and get things started. Okay, so let's get started. So we will start by getting the battery on and the beacon on. Looks good. Next, we'll get the fuel shutoff valve in, get the throttle cracked and the mixture to full rich. Okay, back to the panel here, get the fuel pump on, magnetos to both, and ignition. And that's all there is to it. And unfortunately, I could not get this guy to get away from my prop area.
Ground Cessna November 359er Golf Charlie ready to taxi south departure. Cessna November 359er Golf Charlie taxi to and hold short of runway 22 using taxiway Alpha cross runway 10 Alpha.
ATC for VFR is brilliant in this game. It's got everything that you could want to do as a VFR pilot.
Taxiing hold short runway 22 via taxiway Alpha cross runway 10 Alpha Cessna 9er Golf Charlie.
Progressive brakes that gradually slow your plane, which is nice.
Tower Cessna November 359er Golf Charlie at runway 22 ready for takeoff departure to the south. Cessna November 359er Golf Charlie cleared for takeoff runway 22 departure to the south approved.
Okay, how cool is that? We've got VFR departure requests from a Class D airport built right into the ATC menu. Rotate. Okay, how cool is this? You can request flight following en route from the built-in ATC system.
Golf Charlie is type Cessna Skyhawk 9er miles northeast of 8 Papa Alpha Tree. Request flight following.
Another great ATC feature for VFR pilots, you can request airspace transitions right through the ATC menu.
To transition Charlie airspace.
Alright, so we did it. It was our first flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. The graphics and scenery were everything that I expected them to be, which was fantastic. The camera system I fought with, and the interface is a bit convoluted at times compared to X-Plane. The planes are a bit simplified. Not all the functions exist for the Garmin, for example, and the buttons and text are oversized in the cockpit model, so I think the planes are a bit more realistic in X-Plane, but the lighting engine definitely makes them look more realistic in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, as always, thanks a lot for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.